GIS technology never stands still. New tools, smarter workflows, and innovative ways to visualize data are reshaping how we work every season. Staying ahead means knowing what's new and why it matters. That's why we're back with another edition of Getting Technical, your quarterly update on the latest advancements in the Esri ecosystem. Welcome back to Geographical Thinking. I'm Michelle Brake, and today we're diving into what's fresh in the world of GIS. First up, Jeff will walk you through the latest in technology, including updates to the Content Store and Excalibur. Then Kevin joins us to share what's new in Indoors. Finally, Sue wraps things up with the newest features in Field Maps. But all of this is hosted by Allison O'Brien, and she'll be your guide as we explore everything that's new in our Getting Technical update. Over to you, Allison.
Thanks, Michelle. Our three product experts today are Jeff Petillion to talk about what's new in Imagery. We'll then move on to Kevin Iraheta to talk about what's new in ArcGIS Indoors. And lastly, we'll chat about what's new in Field Maps with Sue and Enyedy. To start, we have Jeff here. Welcome to Getting Technical, Jeff. We are lucky to have you here today. Let's start off with a little intro from you. What's your role here at Esri Canada?
Yeah, thanks, Allison. Thanks for having me. So my role at Esri Canada is product specialist for imagery. So you can think of me as an expert in all things imagery and rasters, especially when it comes to working with our imagery managed products, as well as our reality mapping offerings.
So you're the perfect person to walk us through some of the latest imagery updates. We've seen a few major changes in this area over the past year. So can you give us some insight into what's new and exciting?
Yeah, so over the past year, there have been a lot of new updates for working with imagery and accessing imagery, particularly in our web-based GIS platforms. So there's two main topics I really want to get into today. One is ArcGIS Excalibur, and the other one is Content Store for ArcGIS. So I'll probably start there, the Content Store. So this is going to be a new web app that's available through ArcGIS Online, and it's going to allow you to access and then purchase premium satellite and aerial imagery data from Esri partners and leading data providers. Once you've found and purchased your imagery, you can simply download it or publish it to your ArcGIS Online or Enterprise portal.
What a great feature. Are the images being updated constantly, though?
Yeah, so the Content Store is going to feature both archived imagery data as well as the ability to task new images. So if you're looking for specific dates, you can check out the archive option, which does get updated consistently, especially with satellite imagery data. However, if you want to access the most up-to-date imagery, you might want to check out the image tasking functionality. With this, you can specify an upcoming day or window of time when you want your imagery to be captured. So let's say, for example, there was a landslide that happened somewhere and you wanted to get information for that area right away. You could use the image tasking option to capture brand new imagery for that landslide affected region so you get the most up-to-date data. It's also a great way to get information for remote or hard to reach locations.
Very, very cool. So just to follow up to that, what is the best way to access the Content Store?
So you can access the Content Store through the app launcher in ArcGIS Online. And if you don't see it there, don't worry. It can be added in through the ArcGIS Marketplace. There is no cost to install this app, but you do need admin credentials to complete the setup process.
Seems to be quite accessible, so that's great to hear. Maybe we can shift away from this and talk about our next topic, which is ArcGIS Excalibur.
Yeah, so this is another great web app designed to work with imagery. And with Excalibur, you get a focused web environment for exploring, analyzing, and visualizing your raster and image collections that you already have published to your portal. And as of this year, it's now more available than ever. And it's available to anyone with a Creator, Professional, or Professional Plus user type.
Okay, this is very cool. I've never used it, so I have a couple questions. Can you access it in ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Excalibur used to be exclusive just to ArcGIS Enterprise, but now it's available in both ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise, as long as you have that creator or higher user type that I mentioned. One other thing to consider is that for enterprise users, you will need to be on 11.4 or higher, as previous enterprise versions did require a separate add-on license to use Excalibur.
Okay, that is very good to know. And then, has there been any cool updates recently?
Yeah, so the last few updates of Excalibur have really been focused in on adding more analysis capabilities to the platform. So things like deep learning tools for object detection and pixel classification have been added, as well as raster functions to do workflows like change detection, NDVI, and raster clipping. Another new feature that I want to mention is the added ability to work with oriented imagery datasets right in Excalibur as well.
So, you mentioned oriented imagery. I'm not very familiar with this. Can you give me an overview of what that is?
Yeah, for sure. So oriented imagery is a new layer type that was added across the ArcGIS platforms last year. And essentially, it's a new solution for working with images that you've captured in the field. So it allows you to add in things like photos from your cell phone, drone images, even 360-degree photos into a GIS environment. From there, you can start exploring your images and see how they actually interact with your map data. So, for example, you can pan and zoom in on a photo, and your field of view will update on your map. So you can see exactly where that photo was taken and how it relates to your other GIS data.
Thank you for that clarification. And I believe there are some differences between what is offered in ArcGIS Online versus ArcGIS Enterprise for ArcGIS Excalibur. Can you elaborate on those differences?
Yeah, so that's another good question. So the big difference here is the ability to work with video layers. So this is going to be an option that is available with the ArcGIS Enterprise version of Excalibur, but it's not yet available in ArcGIS Online. So, if you're looking up resources for Excalibur, you might run into some, documentation that talks about Excalibur's video capabilities. But keep in mind, these are only going to be available in Enterprise if you have a video server also deployed. I do foresee that ArcGIS Online version of Excalibur will have video capabilities in the future, but for now, that's exclusive to Enterprise, and it's just something we'll have to keep tabs on for ArcGIS Online.
It's nice to make note of these differences. So, thank you for sharing. And that's going to wrap up our time with you today, Jeff. So, thank you for being here and sharing what's new in imagery. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to having more people work with imagery in the future.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So, again, for the imagery enthusiasts, that was Jeff Petillion, our imagery product specialist. Next up, we're going to talk with Kevin Iraheta about ArcGIS Indoors. Welcome to Getting Technical, Kevin. Thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me. Just coming off of a nice Thanksgiving long weekend, and I'm excited to talk about indoor GIS and where it's going.
Amazing, amazing. So, just like we did with Jeff, we'll start off with an easy question for you. Can you tell us a bit about what you do here at Esri Canada?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a technical solutions specialist here with the company, but I specialize more in indoor GIS and IoT. IoT is information of things, so the real time aspect. And that actually bleeds into indoors as well, because people that are using indoors want to have the ability to track where their stuff is in real time as well. I used to work in public works in the company as well on the work management side, using an application called CityWorks, and that has helped me a lot enter the indoor space because indoors is really big on facilities management as well. So a lot of things tie in together here, which is awesome.
Awesome. So you have an awesome background. You've worked with a lot of different products. That's great. So since now you're working with ArcGIS Indoors, we're going to chat about that today. So for the listeners who aren't really familiar what ArcGIS Indoors is, can you provide an overview?
Yeah, for sure. So ArcGIS Indoors is kind of like a suite of products in the indoor space. So you have indoor mapping, which is what some users might use from ArcGIS Pro, where they bring in their mapping layers, CAD, BIM, LiDAR, and they create those floor plans in a Esri GIS format or indoor model format. And then we publish that just like you would any normal map. And you have it in your ArcGIS Online or Enterprise. And that web map can be consumed in other products like Experience Builder or what's the other one? Blanking here. Dashboards. Yeah, that's the dashboards. And from there, the possibilities are endless. There's also other apps once you have your web maps published. So the other one is Indoor Spaces and the Indoor Map Editor. So the Indoor Spaces is something we use in our company right now for space management. So we can allocate spaces to certain business units. An example of this could be one section is for public works and another section could be for technical marketing, right? So they have desks reserved for them. And then we also have office hoteling as well. Now we're in a unique era right now where there's a lot of hybrid work, and it can be difficult managing who sits where. So that's where office hoteling can be handy, where users can go in using their Microsoft Entra or the indoors booking tools that we have and actually book a workspace for them. And there's also workspace reservation as well. So if you have meeting rooms you want to book, that's something else you can do within the platform. Now there's mobile apps as well that accompany all these. So if you have the Indoors mobile app, you can actually book a room through there, get directions on wherever you need to go. And another bonus to that is there's something else called ArcGIS IPS. IPS is Indoor Positioning System. So it's just a way of wayfinding to where you need to go. Because sometimes, accuracy of GPS in buildings can be tough. So IPS can be really useful to get those beacons up and around and where you can get an accurate location of where you are inside your building. And those are about the three things I would say, like indoor mapping, wayfinding, and indoor spaces.
That's a great intro into what ArcGIS Indoors is. I don't get to use it often, so that was a great intro for me at least, and I'm sure the listeners will appreciate that. So obviously there are constant updates to the software. So what does that schedule typically look like?
Oh, it's been a roller coaster of a year so far. It seems like whenever there's an update to Pro, Enterprise, or ArcGIS Online or the mobile apps, there's usually an update that includes Indoors in there. We're seeing frequency, I guess, in the first half of the year. There's been a release with Pro, Enterprise, and Online. And some of those new functionality could be enhancements on existing tools. We've seen a bunch of enhancements on the CAD importing tool, the BIM importing tool, and the point cloud. And I'd say the product is getting more mature now. So now we can streamline things a lot more, and post-processing is a lot easier now. So users don't have to do as much cleanup on bringing in those messy CAD or BIM layers anymore, which is awesome. And on the IPS side, so the indoor positioning side, we're seeing updates on that quarterly. So I think with the newest one, they just added radio positioning in there. So now it can actually detect when you're being still or if you're where specifically you are, leveraging your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi and radio signals to try and figure out where exactly you are. Yep.
Awesome. So thank you for that. It's nice to know when products will typically be updated. Can you list off any cool new features now?
Yeah, sure. So in the last release, we've actually seen some added support for 360 photos. So there's actually a 360 photo viewer in the Indoors viewer. And what you can do with that is if anyone works in facilities management, if they want to click an area on the map and see a 360 photo of that particular area, they can familiarize themselves with that area, know exactly what it is they need to fix. Or maybe if they're trying to look into a meeting room, if someone's booking a meeting room, does it have the appropriate equipment? Is there a big TV I can connect my laptop to? Is there a speaker system in there? Is there enough chairs for everyone? So it's just nice to get that visual view as well. And there is a tool that brings this all together. So there's actually the import tool or import 360 photo tool that can be used just to streamline this process a bit more. There's also a 3D viewer that has been added since BIM has been added to, the support of Indoors. Now you can actually seamlessly switch between a 2D view and a 3D view. So users that have CAD and BIM data can really take advantage of this. And especially in the facilities management, navigating a map in 2D is awesome, but if you bring it into 3D, now you get that elevation. You know how high something is off the ground, and etc. A couple other things is there's launch actions as well in the Indoors viewer and Indoors mobile app. So that can link to other apps. One example of this could be going to Survey 123. If I want to perform an inspection on an asset or an item I found on the 2D map, I can immediately launch it to another app and perform my inspection. And that's great if we're also working with other applications outside of the Esri ecosystem. So if I need to go to a form available on another website or get information somewhere else, that can be easily linked in the application itself. And also workspace areas and reservations. So just being able to, assign how much area is assigned to a certain business unit, and also enable those people in those business units to only reserve certain things in their jurisdiction, which is great. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of really cool things. I really like that first thing that you mentioned, the 360 photo viewer in map. That sounds very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the ones that you mentioned, do you have a favorite?
Well, I'm a sucker for the 3D tool just because every time we switch from 2D to 3D, everyone is just blown away that I guess 3D is getting really cool, especially in our space. Everyone wants to do 3D, and reality capture is really good now too. So now they can look almost realistic, which is pretty crazy.
Very cool. Great answer. So
Mhm.
what else may be on the newer side of things, or are there any features that aren't necessarily new but that you want to highlight?
Oh, that's a great question. So happy you asked. Well, with the newest release of ArcGIS Indoors, there were a few things that were added to the map viewer, whether you're in Pro or online. You might have noticed a little difference in the floor filter. The design has changed now. And this is great because it supports, I guess, those kind of users that have multiple facilities inside their area they work with. An example of this could be schools or something with a campus like the Esri Inc. campus in Redlands, where they have many buildings that they have to work with. So it's just a better way of interacting with the different buildings and the different floors within them. There's also more streamlining and post-processing in the generate indoor network. So now users have an easier time generating those, routing networks within Indoors. There's also the floor plan editor in ArcGIS Online for now. It's available in Enterprise as well, but in the ArcGIS Online side, they added an import CAD feature. So now you can actually edit your CAD in the browser, which is really great. And organization areas, so space allocation for different units of business is an added bonus as well. On the IPS side, I did mention the adaptive radio positioning. Another thing that can come away from that is the blue dot stability. So you ever have it where you're using your GPS and it can't figure out where you are in a building, or if you're standing still, suddenly you're all the way in somewhere else on the map. Well, they added some stability improvements there. So now the device can actually figure out if you're standing still, perform some math in the backgrounds, and keep you stationary where you are in the map when you're not moving. And there's path snapping that's coming with that too. So if you have your route network in Indoors and you're following a path, you don't have to worry about the blue dot going everywhere. It can stay snapped to a certain path that you're following, which is great. Yeah.
Wow. It's nice to hear about what's being updated in these applications. So thank you, Kevin. Those were some awesome new features, and we're really happy that you were able to share your expertise today.
Oh, great. Thank you for having me. Hopefully I can return again sometime.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kevin. So that was Kevin Iraheta, our technical solutions specialist working in our connected communities and emerging technologies department. Next up, we'll chat with Sue and Enyedy about what's new in field maps. Welcome to Getting Technical, Sue. I know you are no stranger to podcasts, so we're lucky to have you here today. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm great. How are you, Allison?
I am so good. So you're the product specialist for mobile solutions, right? But can you tell us a bit about what you do here at Esri Canada?
And sure, I focus on the apps that are mostly used when you are working away from the office. So Field Maps, Survey 123, Workforce, Navigator, and Quick Capture. And these mobile apps have a lot of updates I have to keep up with as there are several releases each year. And I work with our customers across Canada to help them learn about what our mobile apps offer and to determine which app or apps are best suited for their field workflows.
I know that there were some exciting new features to Field Maps, and I'd love to chat about those with you, but let's first give our listeners an overview of what Field Maps is.
Well, Field Maps was originally released in 2020, and we consolidated 3 of our individual legacy mobile apps into one app at the initial release, including the Collector app that was focused on collecting and updating data in the field, the Explorer app, which focused on exploring data and in a read-only capacity, essentially a digital map book, and the Tracker app allowed organizations to keep track of the location and movement of their mobile crews in the field. So we combined these into one app, Field Maps, and have been incrementally adding more capabilities over time to provide a more streamlined and advanced mobile GIS experience. So Field Maps has 2 components: the Designer app, a web app you use in your ArcGIS organization, available for both ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise. This is used by map designers to configure a map and data for use in the field. And you configure how you want the map to appear for field users. You work with web maps and web layers. You can enable for offline use as well as connected. In Designer, you typically spend time configuring the new smart form for editing the layer attributes. And we've added a lot of advanced capabilities to the form on how it appears and functions for editing, including using arcade expressions to auto-populate data. You can add conditional visibility to hide fields from users who don't need to see them. And the goal is to design a form that streamlines and simplifies field data update, because collecting data outside on a mobile device can be very challenging based on weather and other conditions. And there's some other really interesting capabilities such as geofencing, which allows you to find areas around map features that alert users of something important, such as a hazard. And what you do is you use the Field Maps mobile app, a companion app used on a smartphone or tablet, in a field setting to work with the maps and forms. This can be used indoors as well as outdoors. And Field Maps provides many tools for mobile users to search and navigate multiple map layers, go to different features and more.
Thank you for that. That information really helps lay the groundwork here. So we did have a big update recently, right? So can you talk about some of the new features?
Yes, the big update was in the end of September for the mobile app, which, along with an update of Designer in the spring, introduces an exciting new capability called Field Maps Tasks. Tasks allow you to configure a digital to-do list for the mobile app using Field Maps Designer. And tasks are just a type of layer, which can be either a point, line, or area. They have fields used for assigning a mobile user to an assignment, and also provide status, priority, due date, and any other information that mobile users need. We provide templates to get you started with tasks and learn how they work. And once you configure them and create tasks or assignments, the mobile user will see these in a to-do list when using the latest release of the Field Maps mobile app. They can interact with this list and then work with the assignments that direct them to do their work. They may be adding data or editing right in Field Maps, but you can also use URL links with tasks to direct the user to another app like Survey 123 or Quick Capture, if those are better suited for some parts of your field workflow. And what's great about tasks is they are highly configurable, offering a lot of options for how you want to manage those field assignments. So tasks are replacing another app called ArcGIS Workforce, which was only focused on assignment creation and use. So we're streamlining the mobile workflow with tasks available right in Field Maps. And since tasks are just feature layers, you can work with the data in any ArcGIS app. For example, create tasks in the ArcGIS map viewer or data editor, and view the progress of field assignments by adding the task layer to a dashboard or experience.
We love tasks here, so very excited about that addition. Are there any other features that you would like to highlight?
Well, there were a number of other enhancements with the last release, such as working with utility networks, when working offline, more tracing capabilities. We've improved the forms to provide a simplified experience working with related records in a pop-up. There's a new personal markup experience, which allows you to create notes on your maps without editing actual data. Something I really like is the ability now to edit multiple features in field maps, including their attributes in a smart form. And there's some new collaboration experiences, such as with an Apple device, you can use SharePlay to explore the map with others. There's a lot more, but I think we're not going to have time to go over everything today.
Awesome. We love new features, so thank you for sharing those. And then one more question for you. For those who maybe haven't used field maps yet, how would you access it?
Well, the Field Maps Designer app is included with your ArcGIS subscription and can be accessed from the app launcher. You do need to have users who can create content to use it. So you would need a creator or one of the professional user types to work with Field Maps Designer. For using the Field Maps mobile app to edit data, the field users require a mobile user license or mobile worker. And Field Maps also allows maps to use in read-only mode with a viewer license, and anyone could use the Field Maps mobile app to view sample maps or publicly available maps on ArcGIS Online. So the mobile app would need to be downloaded for iOS or Android from the Google and Apple app stores.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. So that was a lot of exciting new features. I can't wait to see how our users are implementing these updates. Sue, thank you so much for being here today. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you for having me, and hopefully everyone gets out to try tasks with field maps.
Yes, definitely. So that was Sue Enyedy, our product specialist for mobile solutions. Jeff, Kevin, Sue, thank you all for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on this edition of Getting Technical. From imagery innovations to indoor mapping and field workflows, these updates help you work smarter and stay connected to the evolving GIS landscape. We'll be back next quarter with more insights and tools to keep you ahead of the curve. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep thinking geographically.